Welcome back, everyone. I'm Tom Murphy, and this is Trinidad Now on TTTV Channel 71 and Trinidad Times TV 71 on YouTube. With me is Representative Wes McKinley.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. You are still our representative, correct?
That's correct. I am. I'm the representative till December 31st. Still have an office in Denver, and I'm going to be up there working on some issues with the Colorado Department of Health and Environment. And I see a lot of that. Different agencies have made rulings. I'm not much in favor of those government departments making rulings with law. So I watch that very carefully, and there's an issue with one of our little areas here with the lagoon, and I'm going to be visiting with the Department of Health. I've worked on that before. We had some deals there, and it found out that one part of the Department of Health and Environment in Denver didn't know what another part was, and I'm getting them together so we could work this issue out. That's just an example of what I do, and that's really what I like doing as a state representative, is doing those kinds of things. Driver's license issues. I had one issue there. Guy couldn't get a driver's license. His son was going on a mission trip, and he turned 18 3 days after. So I tried to get him a driver's license so that he'd have a valid ID while he was gone 2 years on a mission. Well, you can't get it till 10 days after your birthday. Oh, it was big.
What did you do?
Well, I said, we got to do something. So I called the governor's office and said, they won't listen to me. So we both went down and said, let's do something. So we got the guy an extension, so he got a license.
Okay.
And that's what a representative form of government does that.
And again, you are representing us until the end of December.
Yes.
And if elected as county commissioner, that term begins in January.
Yes.
So there's no conflict.
There will be no conflict at all. I'm running for office now, and I'll be the county commissioner. Now, that's something I can bring to you, because, see, even though I'm not an elected official, I still know all of the same people.
Right.
So I'm still be able to go up and lobbyists. I've worked pretty close with some of the lobbyists. A lot of people don't like the lobbyists, but I got along very well. The ones I didn't get along with, I simply throw down the office, said, don't come back in here anymore.
Right.
And they didn't.
You're on the third floor, though. Did they hit hard when they landed?
No, I just bounced them off the wall on the other side.
All right.
When they left, and they didn't bother ever coming back in. I think you've seen some of that time or two.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to be doing. And another thing that whenever the new representative gets in, see, I will have a new, and it's going to be a little tougher. See, this district goes in a U, and your next representative will probably come from close to Colorado Springs. And the other one, that will be the Otero and the Warfano County, will come from Pueblo.
Right.
So this district splits. So in place of one old cowboy, there's going to be two sweet-smelling little city boys representing District 64. So I'm going to be up there, if elected as your county commissioner, when elected as your county commissioner, and I'm going to introduce myself and said, folks, I've got 8 years experience, and I'd like to offer that. Now, they may reject me. I may get thrown out. But I'm going to say, I have got some experience here, and I'd like to help you, but I'd like to be able to have a little bit of a rapport so that we can work together, so that I make sure that my county doesn't get thrown away like so many of them do, because I do have the name in the legislature up there.
Well, I haven't looked at the redistricting as well as I should have, and I guess what you've said alarms me, because certainly with the ranchers and the people that are against Pinyon Canyon expansion, if our representative is now from Colorado Springs certainly has been in favor of expansion. So are we possibly going to be hurt by that, by the redistricting?
Tom, you don't need to be alarmed. You should be scared to death about it, because it's Los Animas County, Baca County, Prowers County, Lincoln, Kiowa, Elbert. Elbert County's in this. Byers, you know where Byers is at? East of Denver. 30 miles east of Denver is in my district, in the new district. Byers will be in District 32. And I think you go real close to Aurora. You possibly could. Again, though, the reason we've been successful in what we've got for the rural areas is because of my rapport with Jerry Sonnenberg, Corey Gardner, And I was just on the phone to Corey that I talked to him the other day.
Right.
Baumgartner, a lot of the guys, rural areas, rural people stick close together. You know, it doesn't make a difference who you are or what party or whether you got hair or bald-headed.
Right.
You guys, we stick together and we take care of our districts. So I'll still have all of that to bring to us.
Okay.
And that's another reason I'm concerned about what's happening to us. Worked on some animal issues. Quite a few animal issues, and you know, nobody likes animals any better than I do.
Right.
I just got a dog recently, and a lady was kind of concerned about whether an old cowboy getting her dog. She wanted the cowboy to have it, but she was a little concerned because her dog had never ridden in the back of the pickup. And it was through my daughter, and my daughter said, "Oh, don't worry about that. Dad's dogs don't ride in the pickup." He said, "It might make one of us kids ride back there." The dog's riding. So I worked on Jerry Sonnenberg. I worked on a dog issue to protect some animals, but I want to protect the ranchers. And we're kind of under attack from our animal groups, the animal rights. And it's not that they don't, they want to do something about it. There's simply a lack of knowledge.
Right.
And that's been my big thing I've done. Of all the things I did, I was talking to the Speaker of the House, Terrence Carroll. Just 2 weeks ago, Terrence was down to the headquarters there, and we went on a ride. And he said the biggest thing that I had done was the trail rides, getting the people from Denver on horseback out in southeast Colorado, because then they had an understanding of the land and the people. And he said he himself had no idea. He said, "I could not believe that this place was like that, and this place is Los Animas County."
Right.
He said, "By coming down and going with you and meeting the people and seeing the land," he said, "I really got an appreciation of who you were, what you are, and what your heritage and culture and lifestyle is about."
Right.
And he said, "I really honor that."
Mm-hmm.
And he is now a 17th Street lawyer in Denver, and I've got his phone number, and we're working on some things together too.
So you got plenty of connections up north.
Well, 8 years experience I have, and you was there and seen some of them.
Yeah, I did, and we're going to talk about that here in a bit. But I didn't want to lead off with my issues. But so Wes, that's great. You know what you've done as representative. But what do you think are the three most important issues for this county to address that you're coming into?
Budget, of course.
Okay.
We can do better. We can always do better. Makes no difference who you are. I've always survived. You live within your means. We can do that. And we talk about jobs, creating jobs. An interesting thing, production water. I worked with production water starting 8 years ago. One of my first issues because of my experience in the oil and gas fields.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's explain to some people what production water is.
Production water is the water that is produced in the production of oil and gas. So when you have an oil well or a gas well, and in Los Animas County it's mostly gas wells, you have salt water, basically salt water that comes up. Now here, your coal bed methane water is fairly pure.
Right.
It's much cleaner than it is whenever you go deeper, down into the deeper formations. And east of us here on eastern parts, you go deeper and you have a lot of salt. You don't have near as much basic sediment in your water here. But go down to the 7-Eleven and you buy a gallon of gasoline, and that gallon of gasoline is going to cost you $4 approximately. You go inside and buy a gallon of water in a little pint can jars, plastic jar, that's going to cost you $8. You know that water is much easier to clean up from production water than the gasoline is from the oil. So we're missing some real value out here in the produced water, and there's millions of gallons. Pueblo County in 1911 formed an irrigation district to irrigate. Not anything's ever come out of it.
Right.
We could revisit some of that. Now, I know coal's a big issue, and I don't want to get myself in too much trouble here, but it is there. It exists.
Right.
And you know, the Germans ran cars, tanks on coal back in World War II. They didn't have the oil, so they coal. And that technology is still there. It may be a little dirty, but we can clean it up. And we talk about bringing industry in. And I don't want to think, I don't think in terms of let's get this company, let's give them tax breaks, and let's give them all of this stuff and get them to come in here. Let's talk to our people, and let's do it here with ourselves. Let's get the people of Los Animas County. and let's find out about this technology. And it's easy to do. I've got some people now that's computer whizzes that can find out all this information, and we can start doing it. We don't have to commission a study.
Right.
We simply can look and find out this, and let's find out if it's possible, what technology is there. Let's look at the solar. Why get a big, huge solar farm? Again, giving lots of our benefits away, giving them our, half of our heart. Why don't we start looking? And we can do some grants. There's some stuff out there. We're not doing as much as grants as we used to here in Los Angeles. We could improve that. We could put some small solar collectors on each roof that would be very non-intrusive. And we've got the grid system in place. We could be generating electricity, small wind chargers. That technology is there. You're probably too young to remember, Tom, but I remember as a kid, people that were much better off than my family had electricity. We never had any electricity till I was nearly grown.
Right.
Wind chargers. Had a 42-volt wind charger, and that was simply a wind turbine, like a windmill. This setup wasn't very big, and it stored the juice, if we can use that term, in a battery. And they had 42-volt refrigerators, washing machines, iron, lights, the whole thing.
Right. And
they had generators. You could start it up, but most of the people I knew, and in our area, we have some wind. We had it up the other day. We charged the batteries. The 42-volt batteries were charged by a simple turbine. And a guy was telling me he had just visited with an old fellow, 80-some years old, that was one of the old wind charger mechanics. And we used the wind charger. Right. I don't know why. We didn't really charge the wind, but wind generators. But he serviced those, and they were very effective.
Right.
We're looking at 70 years of technology. 70 years ago we did that.
Right.
And here we're looking at these huge turbines. Why don't we get a little more smaller, local, and keep it within ourselves? Then like the coal, we can be doing that, and we don't have to be shipping it and spending all of that excess money to ship it here and then to bring it back. Do it here. Let's get our own technology, our own business.
Yeah, I've actually looked at doing it here at the funeral home. It's not inexpensive, but it just seems like it gets better and better each time. Every year, the technology gets better.